haven't had half as many hearings about guns as we've had on voting rights. And every time we seemingly have a hearing on voting rights, we talking about the fact that people are cheating. So let's talk about who's cheating. I got a few articles. Are you familiar with the fact that there was recently a settlement with this little news company called Fox News?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That was for about $780-something million. Was it because they were lying about the elections?
Yes, it was for a.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I remember that one actually. That was pretty big. They were lying about the elections, but this isn't just about massive corporations trying to cover up for what actually happened in the election. Representative Jasmine Crockett there actually has quite a few regular voters who were doing the actual cheating in the election. Take a look at this.
I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna keep going. There also was this article, because I don't want us to base anything on Georgia at all. Please, Jesus, not Georgia. Okay, because Georgia purged 87,000.
Will the gentlewoman yield? I think Georgia matters.
I will not yield. I am reclaiming my time. All right, so there were 87,000 people that were purged that were legitimate voters. So no, we don't want to copy off of Georgia. Also, another GOP voter admits he committed fraud. Another one in Pennsylvania, man who admits he voted for Trump with his dead mom's name because he listened to too much propaganda.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
Yeah, that was good. Look, we've covered a lot of those stories. Representative Jasmine Crockett is totally right. This is yet another case where the GOP loves to talk about things in the abstract that they are not remotely interested in specifics. They say that they care about pedophiles or whatever, but when all of these prominent people in religion and politics are actually outed for doing these sorts of things, you don't hear a single thing about it from them. They're also very interested in election integrity, but all those different stories, and we could list dozens and dozens more that Representative Jasmine Crockett was talking about, they're not so interested in that. They don't care about the people who are purged, Trey. Like Marge isn't going back to Georgia and be like, I have high standards for Georgia and we can never let this happen again. They don't actually care.
No, I mean, what's that I've seen on the internet before? GOP stands for gaslight, obstruct, project, which I find to be a pretty accurate descriptor. So, I mean, yeah, the voter fraud thing, they yell about voter fraud from the left, which is something that barely ever, if ever, happens while actively trying to, restrict the voting rights and abilities of, so many Americans in a bald-faced effort to cheat to win elections, basically, and then, scream about voter fraud. So it's kind of sums them up, I feel like.
100%. Yeah, and also, look, I'll even be fair, I'll balance it out. There were lots of instances where conservatives cheated, like you voted using relatives' things or voted twice or whatever. And anyone who did that intentionally, I think should suffer some sorts of consequences. But I will also say, I don't particularly care because it didn't change the election. Let's be clear about that. The fake election fraud that didn't actually happen that they're talking about obviously didn't switch the election. The real election fraud also did not impact the results of the election because it's so rare. So let's put things in perspective.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.